Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A newly expanded clinic located within UK Healthcare's Lexington, Kentucky clinic is aiming to treat COVID-19 in children using monoclonal antibody infusions. Anna Bernison spoke to the experts about how they hope to keep hospitals from filling up.
As the pandemic continues with the Delta variant spreading across the country, infection rates among children have increased significantly, which has been seen here in Kentucky.
Since July 30th, we have had 6 times as many admissions to Kentucky Children's Hospital for severe or critical COVID-19 infection in children than we had for the entirety of the pandemic prior to July 30th.
But now that the FDA gave emergency authorization use of monoclonal antibody infusions for children 12 and older, Kentucky Children's Hospital set up the Specialty Infusion Clinic to be the state's primary site for pediatric patients. And with this treatment, they're hoping it will help stem the tide of rising infection rates and keep hospitals from being overcrowded.
Being able to offer this therapy, which should hopefully be able to take some of those kids who are infected and be able to keep them at home and keep them from ever winding up within our walls of our hospital, and certainly without winding up in our ICU on a ventilator.
Now, while this treatment has been authorized for patients 12 and older and has been proven to prevent serious illness and even hospitalization, experts say getting the vaccine is still the first and best line of defense.
Everyone who is eligible for monoclonal antibody infusion is also eligible for immunization. So this is being used for those people who have been immunized or have a breakthrough infection, or what we're seeing much more commonly, which is the infections in children who have not been immunized.
And according to Dr. McTighe, this monoclonal antibody infusion treatment is the most effective and safe for patients infected by COVID-19, as the antibodies are designed to specifically attack the coronavirus. In Lexington, Adam Bernison, WKYT.
This new clinic and the other facilities for adults are only accepting patients by referral. That means you'll have to talk to your primary care provider first to see if your child might be eligible. We have a full list of what might qualify your child in this story on WYMT.com.
Had some showers to start the day. We continue to see a few out there. Most of us, though, on the drier and even on the sunnier side. As we've gone through the afternoon and evening, camera from UVAY is showing actually what's setting up to be a pretty nice sunset out there with some of the low clouds as well as some of those high clouds. We're going to create what will eventually be a pretty nice sunset. Sunsetting already. You can kind of see at least that look from our I-75 camera at Mount Vernon as we continue to see fair weather clouds there. Temperatures have gotten up into the upper 70s in some spots. Prestonsburg, our warm spot right now, sitting at 78 degrees. Same thing in Irvine right now. Most of the rest of us, though, actually Jonesville makes me eat my words, sitting at 79. But most of us within a couple degrees of 75. Those dew points are in the low 60s, so we have just enough moisture for a few showers, but not enough that it feels overly muggy outside. Pinpoint Doppler showing a couple in southwest Virginia, southern Jackson County. So that's something we'll continue to watch as we head through the overnight. Low 60s for lows tonight. Scattered showers, the chances mainly early, but more will be possible later on tonight. I'll have the full details of when we could see some more showers begin to move in coming up in just a bit. Steve?
All right, thank you very much, Evan. The Jessamine County Sheriff has pleaded guilty to driving under the influence. Kevin Corman was stopped by police on September 10th after swerving across the center line. An officer found a cup of bourbon in his center console. As a result, Corman will have his license suspended and will have to pay a fine of around $800 after court costs. The Mothers Against Drunk Driving national president is not happy with the sentence.
In this case, there wasn't a victim, thankfully. But I advocate for whatever sentence is going to cause him to never make that choice again. And do I believe that $200 and a license suspension will cause him to never make that choice again? I don't, quite frankly.
In a statement, Corman apologized to his family, friends, and the people of Jessamine County for what he calls an error in judgment on September 10th. Another new TikTok challenge is making teachers worry here in the Commonwealth. The first one challenged students to destroy school property. This one is now asking students to harm their teachers. Letters have gone out at some schools alerting parents and staff to what is going on, telling them to talk to students about the repercussions that could follow if they decide to join in. The challenge encourages kids to slap or smack a teacher, run away, get it all on video, and post it to TikTok.
That is indicative of a larger disconnect that kids are feeling. They've been isolated for the last year and a half. They have been cut off from friends. They've been cut off from social networks.
The teachers union is advising if it happens to report any incident immediately. Administrators warn those participating in the challenge could face criminal charges. TikTok is urging users to please be kind to your schools and teachers. The platform says it will remove any videos that get posted from the challenge. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration officials say around 17% of people killed in roadway-related incidents are people walking along roads, which equates to one every 84 minutes in the United States. That's why two transportation and traffic safety organizations declared this month National Pedestrian Safety Month. WIMT's Vivica Grayson has more on how you can stay safe.
Whether you are preparing to take a drive or go on a stroll, you become either a walker or a driver.
When we talk about pedestrian safety, it's important for us to share not only that there are things that pedestrians can do to ensure or to help them be more safe when they're traveling out and along the roadways, but also speaking with drivers.
And here in Kentucky,
so far this year, we've already had 50 pedestrian deaths, 36 of which have occurred after dark. And so when we look at that from the statewide perspective, obviously, that's a really big number.
Looking at statistic numbers, the numbers of walker-related incidents are more prevalent and only increasing.
But when you think about it just on a personal level, I mean, everybody's a pedestrian sometimes. And so, obviously we want that number to be zero.
That is why October is National Pedestrian Safety Month, as Sewella provides tips for not only walkers, like wearing visible clothing and being aware of your surroundings.
When you think about it, if you're either on the road or on the sidewalk, people like looking at their phones and things like that, it would be very easy to, get disoriented and make a misstep and step out in front of traffic or not be paying attention.
But also a word of advice for drivers.
You want to make sure that you're not distracted by either your phone or something else in your car, that you're actively watching for pedestrians, that you're driving at the speed limit, especially in places where you see that there might be pedestrian activity.
Working to keep Kentuckians safe. Vivica Grayson, WIMT, Mountain News.
We have more tips on how to stay safe while out and about on our website. You can find that link on WIMT.com. In one of the Supreme Court's first cases of the new session, the justices will take on a case about a convicted felon from Tennessee. One night in 1997, William Wooden broke into a storage facility in Georgia and entered 10 different units. He pleaded guilty to 10 counts of burglary. Now it's up to the Supreme Court as more than 15 years of Wooden's life hangs in the balance.
Without the enhancement, he likely would have faced somewhere between 21 and 27 months in prison. But once the enhancement is applied, there's a mandatory 15-year minimum, and he ended up getting a sentence of 188 months.
If the Supreme Court sides with Wooden, his attorney says Wooden and other defendants could be resentenced without the so-called enhancement. Halloween is inching closer and closer, and one couple in Louisville is getting prepared to share the fun with neighbors. Nick Picht has more on how spooky parts of Kentucky are getting.
I'll start over here.
Emily Wilson's front yard has made the transformation from a cute old home on Hillcrest to a scene out of Poltergeist.
Some that are throwing a body into a fire pit here.
Wilson and her husband moved onto the block in June, excited for their first Halloween on Hillcrest as homeowners.
It's my favorite holiday, so it was a perfect street to live on.
But COVID-19 canceled the official Monster Mash. So Wilson's creepy creation is just a trial run.
We can really test out our idea this year, and then once everything is back in the swing of things, we'll be able to add to it just based on what we're seeing and just get more creative as the years come.
Down the block, the potions are brewing at Katie Kavitsky's house. She's taken the lead on how this block will handle Halloween. As her signs show, decorating and candy distribution will be a house-by-house decision.
We usually get 4,000 kids, and that doesn't count the parents or chaperones that are bringing them down here. So during COVID, with kids not being vaccinated, that's just not a smart idea to do.
For parents who are taking their ghouls and goblins trick-or-treating, there are some things U of L's Dr. Mark Burns wants you to know.
They should continue to wear a mask. They should, distance when they can, and definitely wash their hands, especially as they're counting their candy or going to eat their candy. They should definitely wash their hands before all that's done.
And Burns says being outdoors is always a plus, which is why Wilson and some others are sticking with the plan to bring their yards back from the dead to keep the spirit of Halloween alive.
You guys are going to scare a few people, you know that, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
Metro Public Health says as of right now, there is no set citywide guidance for Halloween, but depending on how COVID-19 looks in the next few weeks, that could be subject to change.
And if you happen to have any fun Halloween decorations you'd like to show off, you can send them our way on our website. And once Facebook and the other social media outlets are back online, you can always send us your messages to us through that as well. Well, William Shatner is once again saying, "Beam me up, Scotty," only this time it's for real. Shatner will be on the next Blue Origin flight to space, just the second one with paying customers on board. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin made that announcement today. Shatner said in a news release he wants to take the opportunity to see space for himself. The 90-year-old called it a miracle. He's going to be the oldest person ever in space. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, fewer women than men invest their money. We share the reasons behind the difference and ways for anyone to get started.
And showers and storms will continue to roam the mountains this work week. I'll have the full timing breakdown on the way.